Dear viewers, welcome to our channel GVS Bank Academy. Today I am going to discuss about JAB, Legal and Regulatory Aspect of Banking. Recalled questions, part 5. Means already we had uploaded 100 questions. Today we are going to discuss 101 to 115 questions we are discussing. Question number 101. NI Act Section 9900. NI Act Section 9900. Noting and protesting. When a promissory note or bill of exchange has been dishonored by non-acceptance or non-payment, means bill of exchange or promissory note has been dishonored by non-acceptance or non-payment, the holder may, within a reasonable time, holder of the negotiable or promissory note, within a reasonable time, cause dishonor to be noted and certified from a notary public advocate. Notary public advocate, you have to notary. Why are, this is required? It is a protest is a, for better security purpose. This it is required. Now 102 NI Act Section 104 protest of foreign bills. It is mandatory. Foreign bills of exchange means bills drawn in India, payable outside India. Foreign bills means bills drawn in India, payable outside India, or bills drawn outside India, payable in India. That is called foreign bills of exchange. Must be protested from a certificate from notary public for dishonor, where such protest is required by the law of the that international country. Where such protest is required mandatory by the law of the place where they are drawn. So that's why, as for the requirement of the country, you have to go for notary and protesting. Protesting for better security, that is there. Foreign bills are mandatory. This is question number 102. HUF, Hindu Undivided Family. So many examinations they are asking about HUF. HUF, Hindu Undivided Family. As for Supreme Court judgment, HUF cannot be a partner in partnership firm and limited liability partnership also. Hindu undivided family, HUF cannot be a partner in partnership firm and limited liability partnership also. Number. I am going to discuss 5 or 6 points, various questions asked in various examinations. Hindu undivided family is governed by, this question they are asking. Daya Bhagla, this is in Bengal and other parts of Festival Bengal province. Daya Bhagla is going to, as per Hindu undivided Daya Bhagla in the Bengal and Festival Bengal province, that is there. Other parts of India, Mitakshara law. Mitakshara law is, except Bengal and the province of Bengal, remaining all over India, Mitakshara law is prevailing about the Hindu undivided family. This is. Number 2, the liability of Karta, major co-partner, is unlimited, whereas the liability of the co-partners, other partners, is liability is limited to the extent of their share in the joint family estate. So, Karta liability is unlimited. Other co-partners liability is limited to the extent of their share in the estate. That is point number 2 under HUF. Point number 3 under HUF. The application, the loan application or account opening application must be signed by all the adult members of the HUF, Hindu undivided family members. And all the adult members should be made jointly and several liable for any borrowing from the bank. So, the application must be signed by all the adult borrowers, adult members, and adult members should be made joint and several. This question was also they are asking. So, all these 3 points are going to ask in the HUF regarding HUF account opening form, loans. In the HUF is governed by which part? This question they are asking. So, HUF 103. 104, back-to-back letter of credit. This is relating to back-to-back. When a exporter who has received the export letter of credit, he is unable to meet the export obligations. He will request his bank he is going to request his bank to issue another letter of credit based on the security of export also of credit. So, based on the export LC letter of credit, the exporter bank is going to issue local domestic LC in favor of supplier of the LC material, that is called back-to-back letter of credit. In other way, it is a domestic LC. Back-to-back letter of credit is a domestic LC. Security for this is export LC. This is question number 105. Question number 105. Not a legal measure of recovery. Which one is the following is not a legal measure of recovery means compromise settlement is not a legal measure. Sale of NP asset to asset reconstruction company is also not a compromise. It's not a legal measure. This is the question 105. These are the questions asked in various examinations of legal. 106. What is meant by provision coverage ratio? Provision coverage ratio. Total provision against NP advances means in NP advances, what is the total provision outstanding divided by total NPA total outstanding NP advances into 100, you will get provision coverage ratio. Total provision in all NPA advances divided by total NP advance of the bank into 100, you will get provision coverage ratio. Now, question number 107. This is the latest means 2019 RBI directions in urban cooperative banks. Constitution of Board of Management in primary urban cooperative banks where it is mandatory. Constitution of Board of Management in primary urban cooperative banks. Urban cooperative banks with deposit size of 100 crores and above. Urban cooperative banks with deposit size of 100 crores and above, they must constitute Board of Management, which will also be mandatory requirement for allowing such bank to expand their area of operations. They want to expand their business and open new branches. This is mandatory. What is meant by Board of Management? In between the urban cooperative banks management and in between urban cooperative bank management and Board of Directors, one more tier is there, that is called Board of Management. Before submitting the Board of Directors, the Board of Management of the urban cooperative banks, they will scrutinize the documents put up by the management of the urban cooperative bank. Where it is mandatory, 100 crores and above, their deposits are there. This. And appointment of CEO, Chief Executive Officer, is also mandatory, 100 crores and above, deposit is there, urban cooperative bank. Here also, CEO, Chief Executive Officer appointment is mandatory. So 100 crores and above, Board of Management they have to constitute, and 100 crores and above, Chief Executive Officer also they have to appoint. This is about the 2019, 31st December 2019 RBI initiative regarding urban cooperative banks. Very, very important. 108, bankers lien is general lien. Bankers lien is general lien, and also it is called as implied pledge. Bankers lien is general lien, also called as implied pledge. Implied pledge means till repayment of the loan, banker can retain the goods. That is called bankers lien is general lien, implied. 108. 109. FIUIND, Financial Intelligence Unit India. FIUIND, Financial Intelligence Unit India, which is a part of PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act, established and monitored by Minister of Finance Ministry, is an independent body overseeing the money laundering activities. This is an independent body overseeing the money laundering activities, and it is directly reporting to Economic Intelligence Council, EIC, Economic Intelligence Council, headed by the Finance Minister. FIUIND, Financial Intelligence Unit India, is an independent body reporting directly to the Economic Intelligence Council, headed by Finance Minister. Banks are reporting CTR, STR, counterfeit currency notes. We are reporting to FIUIND. That's it. Now, 110 question number, contract of indemnity. So each and every examination they are asking one or two questions about contract. A contract of indemnity is a contract by which one party promises to save the other. It is a contract between two parties. One party is promising to save the other. Insurance contracts, insurance policies are comes under contract of indemnity. Contract of indemnity. The liability of the insurance company, indemnifier, is a standalone and a primary obligation. So the liability of the insurance company or indemnifier is a primary and standalone. And there are two parties are there in contract of indemnity. One is the policy holder, another one is insurance company. Indemnifier, indemnity. Right? What are the rights of policy holder, indemnity holder? Rights of policy holder or indemnity holder. The policy holder, the indemnity holder, can claim all damages from the insurance company. He can cover all costs in the event of loss. He can file a suit for specific performance about the insurance company. These are the rights of indemnity of holder. These questions they are asking in various examinations. That is contract of indemnity means it is a contract of insurance. Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999. This act came into effect from 1st June 2000. 1st June 2000, with effect from the act came into this. For contraventions of FEMA Act, what are the penalties? This is the question. If anybody is violating the FEMA Act, what is the penalty? For contraventions of provisions of FEMA Act, penalty can be charged, levied 3 times of the amount where amount is quantified. For any contravention of FEMA, the amount is quantifiable 3 times of the amount, that amount can be as the penalty. B. For the amount is not quantifiable, it is unable to ascertain the amount, then maximum penalty is 2 lakhs. Maximum amount is 2 lakhs. Where the amount of penalty unable to ascertain, not quantifiable. FEMA deals with current account transactions and capital account transactions. Very, very important topic for principle and practice of banking, accountancy paper, and legal and regulatory aspect of banking. Current account transactions and capital account. Capital account transactions. Capital account transactions. The capital account transaction, one that alters the assets in the balance sheet assets or liabilities outside India of a person resident. A person resident Indian balance sheet changes outside, that is called capital account transactions. Any transaction which is going to change, alter assets or liability of the person resident in India abroad, or assets or liabilities in India, any alter the assets or liabilities of an India, a person of resident outside India. A person resident outside India, he is maintaining his assets or liability in India. His assets or liabilities are going to be altered because of any transaction, that is called capital account transaction. Capital account transactions are controlled by RBI, Reserve Bank of India. Now, capital account transaction examples are foreign institutional investment, foreign direct investment, external commercial borrowings, all will come under capital account transactions. Capital account transactions. What is the current account transactions? As for the definition, other than capital account transactions are called as current account transactions. Any transaction other than capital, that is called current account transactions. And current account transfers means transaction related to export trade, import trade, short-term obligations, and all LRS, liberalized remittance scheme related transaction will come under this transaction. Current account transactions. Current account transactions are going to be controlled by Minister of Finance. Capital account transactions are controlled by RBI. Current account transactions are controlled by Minister of Finance. This is about foreign exchange management. Very, very important for all the 3 papers. Garnish order. This is also important for principle and practice of banking and legal and regulatory aspect of banking. Garnish order defined, issued by court under 60 section of Civil Procedure Code. This is under Civil Procedure Code. First, under this garnish order, order nishi issued by the court. First stage in garnish order, court order, that will come into force, and court seek the advice why the funds of the account holder should not be attached. First, order nishi will come. They will ask the bank why the funds of the account in the bank should not be attached. Then, after this order nishi, bank is going to give a reply to the court. Then after receiving the reply from the bank by the court, after bank clarifies its position, the court may issue the absolute order by deciding the amount in the garnish order. When a bank can exercise the garnish order, what is the relationship between banker and customer? Banker is debtor and customer is creditor. Means customer's money with the bank. Then only this order can be exercised by the bank. Banker customer relation, debtor and creditor. Bank garnish order is applicable to savings deposit, current deposits, and fixed or time deposit also applicable. Means credit balances of the party account. Not applicable on, garnish order is not applicable on insolvency accounts. Party is deceased, joint accounts not applicable. Company accounts or firm accounts not applicable. Cash check deposited after issuing of the garnish order. So, means garnish order is applicable only at balance available at the time of receipt of the order. Available at the time of receipt of the garnish order. Amount deposited, check deposited after receiving of the garnish order not applicable for the garnish order. Garnish order is also not applicable. Unused cash credit or overdraft limit. Unused cash credit and overdraft limit also it cannot be. Limitation period for garnish order is 12 years. In the garnish order, no amount, specific amount is mentioned. Full amount to be attached. Entire amount in the account you can attach. Garnish order attaches only debts, loans, does not affect other types of transactions. Only it can attach the judgment debts only. That is the garnish order. I think garnish order we have discussed thoroughly because one time they are asking order nishi, another time they are asking order absolute. Sometime what is the relationship? Sometimes what type of accounts are applicable, not applicable? What is the limitation period? When if the garnish order no amount is mentioned, what? So at once in one lot we have discussed almost the garnish order. This is also very important for principle and practice of banking. All the participants are requested to take a note of this. Also important for principle and practice. Now question number 113. Collateralized borrowing and lending obligation CBLO was discontinued and replaced with triparty repo from 5th November 2018. Now CBLO was discontinued. In that place, triparty repo was made effective from 5th November 2018. What are the guidelines of tripartite repo? This is the question, exam question, but I am discussing 2-3 extra points. This is developed and operated by Clearing Corporation of India. Tripartite repo developed and operated by CCAL. This is one of the RBI approved money market instrument. Money market means 1 day to 1 year. Tenor of the borrowing or lending under tripartite repo from 1 day to 1 year we can borrow or lend. Minimum amount of borrowing or lending 5 lakhs in multiples of 5 lakhs. 5 lakhs in multiples of 5 lakhs. Then 114. Requirement of maintenance of liquid assets by NBFC. NBFC deposit taking. Very difficult question. Very difficult question. Normally in the textbook also not covered. Normally in the very difficult question. Requirement of maintenance of liquid assets by non-banking financial companies, deposit accepting or deposit taking company, shall invest and continue to invest in India in unencumbered approved securities. Means whatever the security they are investing, against that security they are not allowed to take any loan. that is called unencumbered securities, valued at the price not exceeding the current market price. Whatever they are investing, that has to be valued as per current market price. And at the close of any business day, any day, at least not less than 15% of the public deposit which they are taken by non-banking finance company, they have to invest in liquid unencumbered approved securities. What is the meaning of this? When any NBFC is taking deposits from the public, out of the total deposits taken from the public, not less than 15% of the deposit, they have to invest in unencumbered approved securities, means Government of India SLR securities. Indirectly, unencumbered approved means SLR securities or securities issued by state government and central government. So, at least 15% of the deposits taken from the public, they have to invest in approved securities. Against that securities, loan is not allowed. This is about requirement of maintenance of liquid assets. Very difficult question. Now, 1115 types of companies. In the legal and regulatory aspect of banking, this topic is very, very important. Now you see what is there. Companies are classified based on their liabilities, number of member shareholders and control. Normally, liabilities of the company, shareholders of the company and control of the company. 1. Private company, minimum to maximum 200. Minimum shareholder to maximum 200. Restrictions are there to transfer the shares, and private company cannot issue prospectus to subscribe shares from the public. So, restrictions are there for transfer of shares and prohibits any invitation of the prospectus to the public, that is private company. Already, every time they are asking this question. Private limited company, minimum directors to maximum 15. Minimum to and maximum 15 in private limited company. Shareholders to maximum 200. Directors minimum to maximum 15. Public company means not a private company. No restriction on the number of shares. Freely they can transfer freely and they can issue prospectus to the public. That is also there. Minimum number of shareholders 7. Maximum unlimited. In a public company, minimum shareholders 7 members, maximum unlimited. Minimum directors 3, maximum 15. Minimum directors in a public company 3, maximum 15. If the company want to appoint more than 15 director, they have to take shareholder prior approval before appointing the directors beyond the 15. That is the public company. Government company. Any company, government stake is less than 51% is there. That is called government company. That may be along with state government or central government or both. They are having more than 51% of total capital. That is a government company. Statutory company. Some of the government companies are established for a specific purpose. Specific purpose, that is called a special act passed by central government or state government. Examples are RBI Act 1934, Food Corporation of India, etc. These are the statutory companies. Normally, for the statutory companies, memorandum of association is not required because it was passed, it was established by a special act. That's why in the special act they will mention what is the duties, responsibilities, business. That's why specifically memorandum of association generally is not required for statutory companies. Question number 4, companies. Holding company. Any parent company is having more than 51% of shares in other company. That parent company is called as holding company. Then subsidiary company. Parent company, holding company having more than 51% stake shares in any company or controlling the board of directors appointment. That company is called, parent company is called holding company. That subsidiary company is called as subsidiary company. Parent holding company, shareholding more than 51% in any other company, that is called shareholding subsidiary company. And in the subsidiary company, parent company will appoint and control the board of directors. That is the subsidiary company. Foreign company is a company which is incorporated outside India and doing a place of business in India. So foreign company means established and incorporated outside India. They are doing a place of business in India. That is a foreign. All foreign banks are a foreign company. So many foreign companies are doing business in India. 7. Company limited by guarantee. Sports companies, education related companies, religious companies, fine arts companies, their liability is limited. Company limited guarantee is fixed. That's why company limited by guarantee. Normally sports related, education, religion, fine arts related companies called as company limited by guarantees. Small company, capital not exceeding 2 crores and turnover not exceeding 20 crores. Small company. This is the latest budget amendment. Earlier, capital is different, turnover is different now. As for the amendment, capital requirement for small company not exceeding 2 crores, turnover not exceeding 20 crores. One person company means a company which was only one person. That too is a resident in India. Is a resident in India as a member. That is there. One person company. Then Section 8 companies under Companies Act 2000. Section 8 companies under Section 8 companies under Companies Act 2013. These are non-profit organizations, NPOs. This question was asked December 2020 examination. Non-profit organizations means any entity or organization that is registered as a trust or a society under the Societies Registration Act 80 and 1860 or any similar state legislative or a company registered under Section 8 of the companies. This means Section 8 companies means non-profit organizations. These organizations are not for profit motive. Section 8 companies, in one word we can conclude, non-profit organizations. Any trust, organization, society or any similar state legislation, company registered under Section 8. See, means Section 8 companies means non-profit organizations. They have to register with Companies Act 2013 under Section 8, non-profit. Dear viewers, this is my presentation on the legal and regulatory aspect of banking. Today, we have discussed 15 questions, very useful for your forthcoming examination. Lot of information we had covered today. Thank you very much for all for extending support. We are also conducting JAB classes morning 6 to 8, CAB classes evening 7:30 to 9 o'clock. We are also conducting promotional examination at the request of the members. Thank you very much for all the viewers.